in the live à la minute, dans 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, this is YouTube. Come on, I want to go. Go to YouTube. Anything. That's me.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clyde Sharadi from Africa Media Australia on the third edition of African Knowledge. As you know, African Knowledge is a new show that is designed to provide a platform to Africans in Australia and beyond who have something to share in terms of knowledge, wisdom, insight, experience. This is a platform where everyone who is doing something or has something of value to share in the community can come and be able to do just that. So, and it's not just limited to people in Victoria because we are based in Victoria. It's for all African Australians all over the country. And right now, as you know, in Australia, New South Wales is the part of the country that is actually having a lot of issues with the COVID situation getting out of control over there and the confinement. It looks like they're going to be in that confinement for quite some time. It's even a little bit worse than what was happening in Victoria, looks like. So we thought we would speak to someone in New South Wales to give us a bit of a situation, and even more broadly, beyond the COVID situation, is to talk to us about the welfare and challenges and issues of Africans in the state of New South Wales. So tonight I have with me, my guest is Reverend Nava Malula. Good evening. How are you today? Good. Actually, sorry, there's a bit of a sound issue there. Please introduce yourself so we know who you are and what you do. Go ahead.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Navazu, and I have a lot of titles that I'm doing in my community. First of all, I have to take my title as identification. I'm a senior pastor of Agape International Church Ministry. That is a community church that is helping people here in Australia and overseas. And most is the refugees. And the most in this time of corona lockdown in Sydney at the moment, we are doing a lot to support people. And most of the people who cannot speak true English is the second language, number 7 language. So we are trying to see how we can help here and there. And and I'm the advisor council of Mayor of Fairfield, LGO, the advisor committee board member here. and I'm the CEO of Nakango Vision. Nakango Vision is multicultural community integration here in Australia, especially in Sydney, that we are helping new arrivals, migrants that they cannot get jobs. So we look the way we can give them job to, to see how we can, pass them to make sure that this country is their country, to have voice and
Yeah,
to be connected in their community, to engage in their community through our training, advocacy, and etc. It's a lot of stuff we're doing.
absolutely.
Um,
All right.
and again, I'm the CEO of Mama Nava PTY, that is limited. That is a business. That is a
All right.
business that is not profitable. That is getting profits. That we are a network working partner with the Job Active,
Yeah,
Job Seeker from Centrelink. When there's a people from there that they don't have job, they cannot go to get job, according to their disability. Some of young people, they came from jail, prison. So in the community, they don't have that access. They have that fear of going to get job because they know that their identification is already no mess up.
yeah,
So we take them back again and we train them and we put them in that shop. They're doing just training, working, and yeah, we are trying to see how we can put all the stuff together. And that's where
absolutely. All right. I do understand you have many hats that you wear because you're very active in the community and you help people not just on a spiritual side, but also with regards to many other needs. And that is obviously a very good thing. Let's talk about what's happening right now in New South Wales. Obviously, the COVID crisis is at its peak. Probably may not even be the peak yet. It's still increasing. What's the situation? Tell us. You are in Sydney. You are in lockdown. How's life been for you and for many members in the community like yourself?
it's not that easy. We can have lockdown. We think that it is issue. It's not that easy. It's
Mm,
not only the community that they're affected or they have trauma or stress, and our leaders too, like the MPs or the government, they are very even more than we in community. Because when they say stay home, be at home, people in the community, they don't understand, they don't even to hear that word when they don't know that the government is protecting them to be saved. And now it's not only we as community people that we are affected, but all the population is affected. And most is when I'm listening to the news, the way you see the MPs, they are frustrated because people, they don't understand. They don't understand. I don't know the word I use in English. They don't believe that there is COVID-19. They think that is something that is a game or something, but they don't know that really is existing. And that way, sometimes find that is making people some like migrants, or they don't have more English to understand in the media, because the media just English, English, English. If they sit down in the house, they don't understand what is going on. That's why you think every time they have to call Mama Nava, Bishop, what they said, you don't understand. So you find that they're protected. They
psychology.
they become crazy, and
Yeah.
they don't understand that the leaders too, they're crazy because we don't understand each other. And I don't know, in my understanding, and because we are in the grassroots, we know we are close to the community. Every time they call, we understand. I try to explain to them what is going on. That's where you see that I'm doing every 3 days. I have to do my COVID test. Every 3 days, I have to do my COVID test because I had to go to give them what they want, because it became like I'm the mother, I'm the government. So I have to tell them, no, don't go. I'll go. I'll do this. I'll do this. So you find that they don't understand. The issue
Yeah.
is in this lockdown, people don't understand.
Now, let me ask you a
So
question.
that's why I was talking to some people from the government. They will give me an interview, and I told them if they can give the what I would say, I would say the power or whatever to the leaders, community leaders, or the church or whatever and faith, so they can go. They rely now. They don't rely in the government. They don't accept the government. But
So, do you
when
think,
the community, they
Reverend,
explain to them, they understood.
let me ask you, do you think the communication from the government that is directed to the broad community as well as to the multicultural community, that communication needs improvement? Does it?
No, it's not. Lucky yesterday, today
Okay.
is Tuesday, today Monday, on Friday, because I'm the networking when they sent everything from the health, I distribute it in the community. But
Mm.
yes, on Friday, they send me something, the information that is not even the language that they call Swahili language is not there. And when I call, I'll ask the person, I say, why this? You give me all the information, but you left up the Swahili language. And Swahili language is the 6 countries from Africa. They talk, they speak that language, but I can't see this language. How do you think I can help my community? You know
Mm.
what she told me? She said, because that language is not demanding, it's just small people. I asked her a question. I said, they said, stay home, because one person, if he or she go out, she'll bring that sickness in the community. That means that Swahili people, even there is one person who speaks Swahili, he have or she have to get the information clear. So you have to make sure you have to support these people. You have to put the information in that language so they can understand, even one, because just is one person who's making that there is to spread in the community.
Mm.
So you find that there is a miss, they miss something there. The information is going just one side, but it's not on all people. And there's some community that 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 15 years, whatever. But some communities just 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So it's hard. Yes, you send all this information like the way they send to me. It's very hard. They cannot understand anything.
Mm.
So you find that there is a gap, a
All right.
big gap.
So there is a big gap in terms of the communication, and obviously it's important that the community is informed appropriately. And we know that I actually read an article today. I think it's from one of these newspaper in New South Wales, where Professor Andre Renzao,
Yes.
who is a specialist in health and migration, was talking about the needs to improve communication between the government and multicultural communities. So that's something that you're also saying that that communication is not quite the best, and there needs to be some improvement. What would you suggest that the government does? Obviously, you talked about, for example, having languages such as Swahili that is spoken by many Africans in New South Wales. But what else would you suggest?
Number one, what the government wants to do, they have to give us opportunity to go to the media. They have TVs, they have SBS, they have a channel 9, they have channel 7, they have Oreva, channel 10, Oreva, all the channels they have to do to make sure that multicultural, they can have even 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 1 minute to express, to tell the community. That is very, very useful for the community to get the information quicker.
Mhm.
Number two is the community to have a platform like you have media, you have broadcaster, the way they call it, to have the online every single minute to give them information in the language that they can understand. That will be very, very clear, and it can be helpful because we live with them. We live in the community, grassroots. We are there. We know who and who, so we can put it together, and we put it like we do, like I do. I do every time when they send me some information. too long. How can I start to translate it to? It's very big job. So what I do when I read it, I understand it. I start now to call. You know this and this, or I write down and I send to them the way I want. I can the way I can't. You know the way I can. I send to them. But if there was really the media, like the way they said this time, this time, this time, this time, and they give the people, such community, every community, they know, okay, this is Swahili language, we give 1 minute. This is the Arabic Swahili, this and this. They distribute it like that. You find that the people who understand the better. Oh, we see example. Reverend Nava was in TV, say about this stuff is bad. Or it's not that she want to talk because of the government, but you can see that's that way the message can go straight away. But to find that is just English, English, English. Some they don't understand, some they don't care. But yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be better if the government can take that in consideration, even though I was
Absolutely.
in the justice of peace, I tell them too.
What about the community leaders? Obviously, the government has its role to play, and the community also has its responsibility, especially those leaders such as yourself and others who are working to try to make a difference in the community. What do you suggest the rest of the community leaders and activists and advocates do to try to improve the communication so that the people in the community are well informed, they know what needs to be done, and they also can communicate back to the government to give them some sort of feedback where there are areas of improvement?
Just is one word. Let the government and the community leaders to work partnership, to have one what, to be working together. So everything will be all right. Because we are in the roots. We are community leaders, we are in the roots. So we know our people. When the government we're working together, they give that to say, do this, and this. Straight away we pass the message, straight away we work together with them, even though I'm in my house. You see, you're in Melbourne, but me, I'm in Sydney. But we're talking. You don't understand? We flow. So we
Absolutely.
start in our own language and we go down in the English. You understand? So that's the way it is, just to connect, to work in networking, to work partnership with them. That's it.
Absolutely. That partnership is indeed needed. And also, the community leaders have to find ways to be more innovative in the way they do the advocacy. And the media is also certainly an area where there's a need to do more. And that's why here at Africa Media Australia, we're trying to give a platform so that we'll have not just English as the language for communication, but we also want to broadcast in Swahili, in Arabic, and other African languages, so that the community out there is well informed. Because there's a need not just for information, there's also a need for knowledge, which is why this show has been introduced, so that people can, we can empower each other through the knowledge that we have, the experience, the wisdom, and the insight. Reverend,
Sorry, before you go to another question, I wanted to put a stamp there.
yeah,
You know, myself, I'm 18 years, 19 years in this country. But when this issue came, when I start to look for the news because the lockdown, you see that there is no any information in another language, just English. And so I can speak my English the way I can understand it. But what about that new arrival who came here with the children? They start the life here. Do you think that they will understand what is going on?
mm,
They'll put their music, they'll put movies, they'll put something else without to know what is going on. But if they put multicultural, 2 minutes, hey, mama, watch TV, we are, they are doing something, this corona, this, lockdown, they will put attention because it's in TV. But if just TV, just movies, to see what is going on, the number is going up, they don't even care about it. They say, these people want us to be just inside the house. But if they see, like, you give example, African come, Arab come, this and this, all multicultural. This is multicultural country. It's not just for one people. This is multicultural. If they want this lockdown or this COVID spread to stop, they have to make sure to work together. Even TV, radio, whatever. They have to agree, multicultural people, to go to speak, to talk to their people, to sit down. Because when the English is that they, even I don't want to use the English that is in the measure, but I use what they call multicultural. Let
Mm.
us to see that, let all the population see that we are in multicultural. Let me give you an example. I was watching TV with my kids. They're not at school. So we see now when the news starts, they show beach. When they're showing the beaches, you know that they will show, say, ah, there's not even African. You see the one they said, there's not even African that are going to beach. Why not they let us to go? They lock us down and we are not going there. Do you
Mm.
understand? It's only we are understanding we are inside the house, but other people, they are going to enjoy life. Do you see what I said? So it's like there is like a just for other people, but other people, so we want the government to work in this issue in Australia now as a multicultural country, that we are passing through this COVID-19 and we are in lockdown. Let us to stop to spread this virus through the multicultural, not just one side, all of us, all of
Absolutely.
us.
All right, let me remind those watching us that you're watching African Knowledge on Africa Media Australia, and I'm speaking to Reverend Nava all the way from Sydney. And we're talking about the situation in Sydney with the the COVID crisis, but also more broadly about the issues, challenges, and opportunities relating to African Australian communities in the state of New South Wales. We welcome questions and comments. If you have any questions that you want to put to Reverend Nava, you're more than welcome. Your comments, you can write them down, and we'll see them on the platform. So let's talk about the role of women in advocacy, because you're one such a person that is doing quite well in terms of what you undertake to assist people in the community to try to make a difference. I see nowadays that there's a lot of more energy coming from women when it comes to community advocacy than what we see from men. Do you agree? And what do you think is explaining that? Why are women all of a sudden very, very active in community advocacy?
Let me tell you one stuff. One, I want to start with that so I can go there to your question.
Yeah.
I want just to talk about African women because I don't have too much experience with Western women.
And yeah.
We African women, let me put my example. That's what make me to be advocates for women. Mm-hmm. We came from the country that a woman doesn't have value. We came to the country that the value of a woman is just to go to look for food for the family, to raise the family, even though the husband go to look for money, but the manager of the house is the woman. Even you have 10 children, even you have 2 children, even you have 1 children, you are a manager. So that management, we came with it from Africa to the world. You carry your child, you put on the bag, sometimes you're pregnant, you are running with 6 children, you take them from the war, you serve them, you reach in the refugee camp, suffering for 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, and now you get opportunity, you come to the country like this. Do you think that is anyone can advocate for me, or I'll have to advocate for myself? I have to, because I know that this is the country that I have freedom. This is the country that a woman can go to school, can go to uni. You can be a CEO like me. You can be a minister. You can be a senior pastor. You can preach gospel without anyone to doubt you. So when we come here, when I came, let me say my own example. When I came here, I didn't have any word of English. I was just speaking French, Lingala, and Swahili. No any English. When I came here, I have to advocate first of all myself, because before you advocate for the country, before you advocate for somebody, you have to start to advocate for yourself. Advocate myself. I got to 500 hours to learn English. Carry one surcharge in the back, put another one in the frame, go to look for the bus, no driving, no car, no nothing. You're going to study to know the language, first of all, to know the language of the country that you are, because you want to succeed. All that is what? Advocacy. You start to advocate for yourself. I finished there, I go uni, So when now I start to understand, to speak English, I found that the doors open. I go there. They brought me the country now, because it's a country of passionate. They want to help people. They train me. They train me to be an advocate. The advocate, because I have that skill, because I came to the royal family, because my grandpa was a king, so I'm a princess. So leadership is inside me anyway. So when now they found that I have something that they have to improve it. So can you become a successful woman in this country? They start to train me, because when you go to the country, you have to. That is not, you don't know that country. You have to follow. That is the parable in our country. You have to follow the step of the leg. If they dance with the right, you have to dance with the right. If they dance with the left, you have to. So I follow the full step of the women in Australia, the way they are dancing. So they start to train me. And you know what? In 2015, they choose me to go to represent all the NGOs in Australia to Geneva, Swiss, to United Nations. It's not that easy, because the fact that there's advocates inside. Before they send me there, I have to do the Australia, to do the meeting, to do presentation, to do this. So they teach every angle to make you to become an advocate. So it's not that easy. So that way I started to collect the women, to go to, I found that the women, they have an issue, this and this. I put myself, the issue of domestic violence. We came with the violence from there. We came here, you find again the violence here. I said, this is not, it's not just me. I have to help. You know what I did? I'm going to start a psychology. I'm a psychologist. I remain with 4 subjects only to finish, to get my degree. I went there just passionate to make sure that I can advocate that is enough. Because when I go to do my Bachelor of Theology, I finished it, that I have my degree. But you find that there is some people, some women, because me, I hate to much women. Sorry for that. So because the women are vulnerable, men never be vulnerable, just women. So what I did, I found that in that one area of spirituality is not enough me to help somebody or to advocate for somebody. Because human being, we have spirituality, physical, emotion, So that 3 stuff, I found that is in a human being, that woman. So how can I reach the Muslim woman? How can I reach the Buddhist woman? How can I reach another, denomination, or another person who doesn't care about faith or whatever? That way, I did what? I started the Nakango vision. So the Nakango vision was started by women, and that women, they don't have English, they don't have anything. So I start to advocate them from national to international level. So that way we are there now. No one who can play, because we are there to advocate for any woman. We advocate even for Aboriginal. We advocate for Arab people. We don't choose all this. No, for all women. That's what we call it, multicultural integration community services. So then when we started and start to help the women.
So
oh my God, they're very Powerful.
And we see a lot of women, indeed, really getting very active in that advocacy field, which is a good thing because we know that, as you said, there's a lot of vulnerability that affects women. Men may have their own issues, but uh, we women are at the center of the family, and it's important that they also take leadership, especially in this country where that leadership is actually encouraged. So, what are some of the issues that you think needs to be highlighted from the broad multicultural communities in New South Wales, and this is not just particularly for the Africans. Obviously, because you're a member of an African community group, you would be more familiar with those sort of things. But more broadly, where do you think both the community, the government, and the individuals should look at to try to improve communities' welfare?
Thank you. If the government can hear my voice today, I'll be more than happy because I didn't have the opportunity to express what you said today. You know, as I said, migrants, let me say the country I came from, because I cannot talk for other people. I have to talk where I came from, where I know who I am. You know, African women or men, we are very strong. We are very intelligent. We have a lot of skills. But unfortunately, the government of Australia never get even 1% from we. Now, we are doing our own efforts to be the way I am. Myself, no one push me. I push myself. No one make me to have the shop I have today. It's myself. Go to the bank, ask for the loan. I get the loan. I start to use my own skill that I have. I go to China. I go away. I start to do myself. But government didn't help me. The what I can say, government helped me. Thank you to bring me to Australia, to give me a citizen that is not working as the Australian citizen. I'm still working as a migrant. They don't see me, they still put the label here as a refugee and they give me a citizen. What the meaning to have a citizen where they still put me that label as a refugee woman? Last time I went to do presentation to the immigration, I told them, don't call me a refugee woman. Call me Reverend Nava. Because you have to get what I have inside, but don't put the label. So let me go. So you find that government miss a lot of opportunity for we African migrant, refugee, or whatever to contribute in this society. You know, I want to tell you something, Papa Salum. No one, the one they call African, let me say African, because that's the platform that I came from, I've grown up. We don't lack settling. They hate the man they call settling badly because they don't want to be slaves. That is like slavery. They want to work. They want show me what I can work. I can get my own money. And when they start to work, they start to pay tax. But now the government missed up that opportunity. Why? Because people like us, we came before that people. We try with our effort, without papa, without mama, without anyone. You make your effort, you became the way I am. Government didn't support me. I support myself because I have the skill. I know how to do. So now, if the government can think to say, okay, how can we help the question you ask? Just look the community, look the people who are successful. They try to get up, they try to push themselves, to boost themselves, to go there. Just what we need is funding, money. I was talking to somebody today from the government. I asked him, I said, why you guys can't give us money to just to trust we? You trust we because don't just put that labor refugee, African, or whatever, migrant, or no. Just say this is Australian citizen. I have my job, I have my stuff, give me money. I tell them at the moment I'm talking to you, Papa Salum, I have a contract of million of money from Congo, DR Congo, to do partnership to buy the stuff here in Australia and to sell in Congo. So that stuff, when they bring the money, I buy that stock of million. Who get the benefit? Who get the benefits? It's not Australia. It's Australia. But now, who support we? That the government contract is not for $10,000 or $20,000. Is block of money, and it's really is not like this. But now, when we start, a lot of people they have mindset of business. We know business is our age. Some people to work in the office is hard, but if you give them, so this is the 10,000, go and start to do this, they will do it very well, even though it's different from our country, but they can still do it because they'll train them. This is the way we have to do, this is the way we have to do, and they will do it and everything will be okay. But you find that very, very hard, very, very hard. What I want is the government, if they support African community with funding, we do the best. We be the best in this country. We never disappoint them. They'll be proud, say, yes, these people, they came here, this is the country, they contribute a lot in this country.
Okay, so obviously we understand the point you're making, that you do need funding to be able to run programs. But at the same time, obviously, I don't think there will always be enough funding to give to all communities. What are some of the solutions for communities to sort of
That's what I said, Papa Salum. It's not all communities. We look at who is who. You know, when in my NGO, when the grant come, when we are writing grant, when we put in application, you know what they're looking? They're looking who is 15 or 20 or 30 years in this industry. Mm-hmm. They give the money. You get the money they give to that people. They're not doing nothing. Everything come back to we, because we are looking. We are working in the grassroots.
Yes.
Also comprehend. So you find that that now that giving they have the migrant that are looking at us. Because that government, that organization, they said we are looking for refugees. They're not working because they don't understand. Then giving us, we can grown up, we can know how to craft this and put them together, train them in the society that we are now. I'm 20 years now, Australia. Example, I put in my own example. 20 years. Do you think that I cannot do something that the government say, yes, something's going to happen? No, I can't do it.
Okay.
But they are looking for somebody.
I'm sure. All right. Now, I'll take some comments and questions we're getting from some people that are watching right now. I've got Abu Leila Clement, who is asking, what can you say to those who are not adhering to government directives, such as wearing masks, no visitation, no public gatherings, all that? We're getting back to the COVID crisis and all the directives that the government is giving. Some people, in our communities are not always sort of, they don't trust the government. They don't necessarily believe that they have to do everything that they are being told. Some have some hesitations, including with regards to the vaccination, all those sort of things. What are your views in relation to that?
I'm going back to my answer. I told you the government must believe us, how to cooperate with us, so we can explain to them very well. We can do Zoom, we can do WhatsApp, we can explain to them the benefits of that stuff in our own language and our own, when we are talking, you are explaining the person understand very clear. But when the government is, the government is lying, they don't, as you said, they don't, but they believe me. But no, they know that Reverend cannot lie. Reverend is a woman who look after we. If he says something, we have to follow what she said.
Okay, so would you recommend that people do everything the government says, or how do you address some of the hesitations in terms of necessarily following the government steps, and how to bridge that gap in between what is required by the government and what the community needs, because those two things are not always the same. There may be a gap between what the government wants and what the community wants. How do we
I
bridge that
get
gap?
you. I think you didn't get my YouTube. I did a YouTube about the stay home, wear mask, wash your.
Mhm.
I did it. I did it. I
Okay.
do educating them. I do. I do educating them. I told them that all the power in the government it comes from God. If they say so, we have to follow what they said because they want you to be protected. I told them every time. Well, like today, someone will say, say, no, don't try. You have to. You have to wear mask. Don't go anywhere. Don't even come to my house. You need everything. I know how I can protect myself. Don't come.
What do you think?
Don't even come.
What
Yes.
do you tell people who don't want to be vaccinated because they believe, number one, maybe that the vaccination may not be safe long term, or number two, that they don't trust the way this vaccine has been developed, and because obviously, and this is not to encourage anybody not to take the vaccine. I'm just reflecting on some of the views that come from the government. Taking a vaccine is a personal issue that people have to decide, and obviously there are some benefits, and there are some consequences in relation to that. We're not going to go into the details, but what do you tell people who don't want to get vaccinated, for example?
Is that how I'll tell? How do you telling them? Because I do. You know, the community, first of all, because when there's no trust, there's fear.
Mm-hmm.
When there's fear, there's no trust. So
Mm-hmm.
the way they can see when sometimes the information or they're saying injection, if they give you vaccination, is not that you cannot do. They're listening. There are some people in the community die, like in Brisbane, they let die, get vaccination and die. We don't know what's going on. So what I was I give them the advice. I said, no. Don't even go there. I give them that example of the sickness that we have gotten in Africa. Example, there was cholera, there was Ebola, malaria, SIDA,
Smallpox.
all that stuff. I explained to them when that sickness came to Congo, there was injection they were giving people to protect you so that virus cannot enter you. Do you understand? That means this is like, I say, it's like that's the one more explanation. And when I explain to them, if you go to my YouTube, you can see people get vaccination. African get vaccination. Even my people in Malaysia, the church that is Malaysia that work with the United Nations, they get vaccination with UNICEF. They get vaccination because I explain to them this is for protecting you and someone else. Because it can come, we don't know where it's coming. But when you have that protection, you cannot, the way when you go to hospital, you cannot just die quickly. You can resist and they save you. But if you don't have inside you, don't think that what the government wants from you, they want to be alive. It's not just one community, but it's all around Australia. I mean, they need you to be protected because Australia love badly their citizens. Only they don't give us money. Funny.
Okay, we're reaching the end of the show. At least this first part with this interview with Reverend Nava. Let me. I'm going to ask you in a moment to give your last message to the people watching, but maybe just one more question with regards to the media. We know, and I think you've explained it before, that it's communication is very important, not just from the government to the community, but and back from the community to the government, but also just within the community, that we need to communicate and share knowledge and share information, share insights about many things, because some of us may have been here much longer than others, and we can sort of share our experiences and insight. And we see that there is a lack of very good media platforms that really fill that gap, and that we need to do more. African Media Australia obviously is trying to do this, and there are other platforms as well. But what would recommend even to the government to support multicultural media as we seek to fill that gap that exists? Because platforms such as SBS, even though they are doing some good job there, but there's not enough representation of Africans, for example, and many other community radio are also limited in their reach. But we do have to have audio visual platforms that have a very broad reach into the community. How would you advise the government to strengthen these platforms?
Papa, I'll go back again. Let us to talk the way they are talking. Let us to multicultural to be explained in the TV, to tell them that there's danger, atari. Vala, piga shindano, so they could understand. It's not just in your broadcast, not that on my YouTube, it's not only my west. The TV. What the TV is for? It's just 2 minutes, 1 minute today, but program. They do program, okay, Swahili this time, Arabic this time, and we do it. Then they're putting something that doesn't make sense there. People movies, this. Just give us the time to express our to the TV.
Ideas.
We have how many TVs we have around Australia, and if the multicultural they go there, they can do it, and the people find that a message go around Australia, and everyone, hey, I heard it, ulisikia, and everything become very well. But it's not just we are not divided, we are one. When we came to Corona, when we came to this disease spread, we are not divided, we are one.
Okay.
Everyone who is citizen, even students, they came here, we came one. So we have to share together, not just one person to have. No, all of us, let us fight for that COVID-19 to not be spread in our community.
Absolutely. All right. What would be your last message before we end this first part of the show tonight? What would you like to tell people watching out there?
I'm very happy. The people are watching. They can listen and understand what we are saying. They have to take their party. They have to take what they listen here and to spread the community, to tell them that we are one. They have to know that really COVID-19 exists, and we have to sit at home, be at home. If there's something they need, tell them to call me. If you need anything, just call me. Don't go anywhere. That's why I told my people, even this, even Arab, because we are multicultural. I told them, don't go anywhere. You need something, call me. Because I have a shop, I'll bring. Because I know me, I'm doing 3 days. I have my injection already. 3 days, I have to go. I wear my gloves and I drop. You know what I do? I drop that on the door. When I go in the car, I call them, can you go and pick up your food there? When I'm inside the car already. So we have a lot of way we can fight for this corona if we have just one word.
Absolutely.
If we understand each other.
Thank you very much, Reverend Nava. We appreciate your time to African Knowledge here at Africa Media Australia. This is the first time, but certainly not the last. We will have many more opportunities to talk to you in the future about some of your work there and some of the issues that needs to be highlighted in the New South Wales. We thank you again for your time and hope to speak to you sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I was even thinking that you ask me that, but you come to ask me for COVID. I was thinking that you ask me about me. So go just about COVID.
We will have another show for just you. So you will tell us more about everything that you're doing. You've already given us a bit of a picture of that, but certainly there's a lot more that you could highlight, and then people can learn from you. Many women, especially, can learn about what you've achieved, and you can also assist them and to mentor them and coach them to follow your steps and be able to achieve even more. So certainly we will organize another opportunity for you. Thank you very much for tonight.
God bless you. Thank you.
No worries. We're not quite done yet, dear members of the African Media Australia audience. We are going to be finishing in just about 10 minutes. Just maybe to highlight some of the things that have been mentioned. And I see another um, person saying no handshakes. I think okay. Well, that was a comment by someone when Reverend Nava was talking about going to drop food to other people. Obviously, the crisis in the New South Wales is still happening, and it's difficult to see Sydney and the whole of New South Wales come out of lockdown anytime soon. It probably will take a couple of months or more before that happens. Not that we wish it, but just given the amount of cases that are being identified there. So that poses a lot of challenges. People are being confined, and there are both physical, psychological, emotional needs that need to be addressed. And many members of the African Australian communities do have a level of vulnerability, especially those coming from forced migration sort of background, where they still have a long way to go to sort of navigate the system comfortably, and they need assistance. Obviously, there are a lot of Africans who have no specific needs because they come into this country as skilled migrants and they hit the ground running, and they're just like anybody else in the society. But think of those who do have a lot of needs. It's important that the community leaders, such as Reverend Nava and many others in many other communities, multiply their efforts to assist members of the community with regards to what's the best way to deal with this situation in New South Wales and the rest of the country, because even here in Victoria, it's a situation that continues. We are in lockdown, but perhaps here in Victoria, we have gotten used to lockdowns. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. We say we take the lockdowns in a positive side. We consider them as forced weekends, forced holidays. So we've gotten used to them. This is like the sixth one, and it's being extended. So psychologically, it sort of helps. Although people are becoming a bit tired in Victoria because of all this repetition and extension and all the time. But above all, we need to know that we are fighting a disease that is obviously very serious, and it's important for us to make sure we do all that we need to do to protect ourselves, to protect the community, and to make sure that we don't open up to anything that may hurt. Vaccination is something that the government is calling for. There are people in the community who already have been vaccinated. Others are not. Others have their own objections. I'm not going to go into that today. We've had another show only about a few days ago where we had two doctors, medical doctors, who explained to us the advantage of the vaccine. But I know there's still a significant number of people in our communities who still have hesitations about vaccination. Some of it could be legitimate. We're going to be organizing another debate between the pro and the anti-vaccine to just encourage that communication and exchange of ideas to help people be educated and be enlightened with regards to the pros and cons of getting vaccinated. But whatever you do, make sure that you protect yourself, because this disease is real and it is killing people. We would like to encourage those who are watching that the platform is actually open. If you want, you have something to share. If you may even want to run a particular segment in this show where perhaps you could deal with one particular area of community needs, and it could be in a different language. It's totally open to enable members of the African Australian community from diverse backgrounds, whether ethnic or professional, to be able to canvas, whatever they know, whatever knowledge, whatever information that may add value to the community. So do not hesitate to contact us. And I see Tito Malula, who has congratulated Reverend Nava for her participation of the show. We are particularly encouraging young people. We know there's a lot of young people out there who've got things they want to say. We've got things that they've got a lot of energy and a lot of things that they would like to share. Our platform is open, and we would be able to provide the technical and the equipment assistance that is needed to assist some of young people to run your own programs on Africa Media Australia. So that is actually open. So people in New South Wales, on Wednesday, I'm going to be having two other members of the New South Wales African communities, and they will be talking to us. One is a psychologist, and another is a community leader. They'll talk to us more about what is happening there and how the community can best be assisted as this crisis continues. So we're coming to the end of the show now, and we appreciate those who've been watching. We encourage you to share the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like our Facebook page. We will be running this program at least 3 or 4 days a week. We're online, so we don't have any particular restriction in terms of time or days, but we want to run this as often as possible, at least 3, if not 5 days a week, to enable the sharing of knowledge and experience and discussions, also depending on what sort of issues are happening in the society. Okay, if you have any questions, you can contact us through inbox on Facebook, or you can also call us or send us a message. The number is right on the screen, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you as soon as possible to respond to any queries that you may have. Africa Media Australia is open for all members of the African Australian communities, and we encourage you to make contact, ask questions, or make suggestions if you have any. That is the end of the show tonight. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay blessed.